Over a year ago, the world watched in disbelief as Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The images of bombed-out cities and fleeing refugees shocked us all. Today the fighting continues, a grim reminder of the human cost of conflict. While we all yearn for peace, finding a solution to this war remains a daunting challenge. Throughout the past year we've seen incredible resilience from the Ukrainian people, who are determined to defend their homeland. Their courage in the face of aggression has been truly inspiring. Yet, the path to peace is riddled with obstacles, making a swift resolution seem like a distant hope. The situation on the ground remains fluid, with both sides fiercely contesting territory. Despite international pressure, diplomatic efforts have yielded little progress. It's becoming increasingly clear that this conflict is about more than just land or borders. It's about power, influence, and the future of Europe. The complexities of this war demand our attention, even if it feels geographically distant. Because in our interconnected world, what happens in Ukraine has profound implications for all of us. The longer this conflict continues, the greater the risk of wider instability, economic turmoil, and a shift in the global balance of power. Ending the war in Ukraine isn't as simple as waving a magic wand. Russia's ambitions go beyond merely controlling Ukrainian territory. Putin sees Ukraine as intrinsically linked to Russia's identity and history, making this a deeply personal and existential struggle for him. This makes compromise difficult. Furthermore, Russia has shown a willingness to use its military might to achieve its goals, regardless of international condemnation. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the ongoing support for separatists in eastern Ukraine are stark reminders of this. These actions demonstrate a disregard for international law and norms, making it hard to trust their intentions. The conflict has also exposed the limits of international diplomacy. While many countries have condemned Russia's actions and imposed sanctions, these measures have so far failed to deter Putin. This highlights the challenges of finding peaceful solutions in a world where power often trumps diplomacy. The situation is further complicated by the potential for the conflict to escalate. With NATO providing military aid to Ukraine, there's a risk of the war spiraling into a larger confrontation between Russia and the West. The stakes are incredibly high, and the consequences of miscalculation could be catastrophic. Some experts argue that even if a ceasefire is reached, it might not address the root causes of the conflict. A truce would merely freeze the situation, leaving Ukraine vulnerable to future aggression. Without a genuine commitment from Russia to respect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, any peace would be fragile and short-lived. Others point out that the conflict has already had a devastating impact on Ukraine's economy and infrastructure. Rebuilding the country will require a massive international effort, even if the fighting stops today. Moreover, the war has created deep divisions within Ukrainian society, leaving scars that will take generations to heal. There's also the issue of accountability for war crimes. Both sides have been accused of atrocities, and ensuring justice for the victims is crucial for lasting peace. However, holding perpetrators accountable will be a complex and challenging process, especially if Russia continues to deny involvement. Ultimately, a sustainable peace requires a fundamental shift in Russia's calculus. Putin needs to recognize that the costs of continued aggression far outweigh any perceived benefits. Until that happens, the world must remain vigilant and prepared to support Ukraine in its fight for survival. While the war rages on in Eastern Europe, its effects ripple across the globe, reaching our doorsteps here in the United States. The conflict has sent shockwaves through the global economy, disrupting supply chains and contributing to rising energy prices. Americans are feeling the pinch at the pump and in grocery stores. This conflict is no longer a distant news headline. It's impacting our daily lives. Beyond the economic repercussions, the war presents us with a stark choice: intervene more forcefully now, or brace ourselves for greater threats in the future. Some argue that increased military aid to Ukraine is crucial to deter further Russian aggression and prevent the conflict from spreading. They believe that a decisive Ukrainian victory, or at least a stalemate, is the best way to protect American interests and maintain global stability. Others caution against escalating U.S. involvement, arguing that it could lead to a direct confrontation with Russia, a nuclear power. They believe that focusing on diplomacy, sanctions, and strengthening European defenses is a more prudent approach. This debate highlights the difficult trade-offs involved in navigating this complex geopolitical landscape. The war in Ukraine is a defining moment for our generation. The decisions we make today will shape the world for years to come. It's up to each of us to engage in this critical conversation, weigh the potential costs and benefits of different policy options, and make our voices heard. What do you think is the best way forward?